Yo, what is good, Sixer Nation? DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live stream. Hey, as y'all come in, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and also hit the bell notification icon as well. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. First of all, salute to my guy BJ in the building. What's good, bro? He says easy work. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are better than Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, yeah, that's what it seemed like yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, salute, bro. Salute. Salute to Rap Guy Reloaded too. Salute, salute, salute. What's good? What's good? Hope y'all having a good day. But yeah, 76ers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. We gotta talk about it. We gotta cover it. Salute to my guy, Tuna in Sports. Salute to Humble. And salute to my guy BJ. They Cavs fans, so you gotta give it to them. But let me not waste any more time. Let me just get straight into this. So the 76ers get destroyed by the Cleveland Cavaliers at home by a blowout. And the 76ers in the two matchups that they played against the Cleveland Cavaliers, both games ended up being a blowout. And the 76ers, for whatever reason, seem to have troubles going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. Now, last season, it was something completely different, even though last season the Cavs beat the Sixers, but most of those games were competitive, right? Most of those games were competitive. I think one of them ended up in blowout, but in the three games that they played in, two of them were very, very competitive. And one of them, I mean, even the Sixers' big three didn't even play in them, right? The Sixers had role players going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers' their big three, big four, whatever you want to call it. And it was very, very competitive. I think that was the game that Jerry McCain ended up dropping 35 and 10 points. Right. That was his come out party. But and those games, that game was competitive. And then they had another game which was also competitive too. But this season, it's been something completely different for whatever reason. With Embiid, without Embiid, the Sixers seem to struggle with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavs are a good offensive team, right? A good offensive team being led by Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, those two, that backcourt. They are very, very good offensive players. And then, last season they had the best offense in the league, right? They had the best offense in the league. They were number one. When they were averaging about 120 or 121 points per game. Right. So this season, I think they carried that, something similar into this season in terms of the offense. Now the defense hasn't been the same. Even though they still got the reigning DPOY, which I don't think he deserved it, but that's a conversation for another time. They still got Evan Mobley, being a defensive anchor. You got Jared Allen, who can also give you some level of rim protection. And then you got Jalen Tyson on the perimeter, giving you some perimeter defense. And then some guys coming off the bench too with what you call it? Philly's very own DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter's he's not a great defender. He's a good defender. I mean, he's able to bother players with his size and length, right? Salute to my guy. Salute to my guy Hendo. Watch the whole game. I don't know what the 3-point defense was at, bro. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they did a very, very good job of passing the ball, moving the ball, and they kept constantly getting the Sixers defense in rotation. And they just kept passing the ball around, getting into the middle of the defense, passing the ball around, and then finding the open man, right? That's why if you look at the assist numbers, they had about 30 plus assists because they were moving the ball and they were getting the Sixers defense in rotation. And there's something about the Sixers that I need to point out, right? If you play against an NBA team, right, and you're on defense and you decide to not communicate on defense, then you're about to get barbecued, right? You're about to get barbecued. And multiple times I saw two guys sprint into one player, right? Meaning that somebody's definitely going to be wide open. And that's how DeAndre Hunter was getting a lot of his threes. Sam Merrill hit some threes. Darius Garland was hitting threes. Donovan Mitchell was hitting threes, right? Now, Donovan Mitchell didn't even he didn't even go off in the first half like that. It was in the third where he came to Philly. Donovan Mitchell came to Philly. He didn't come to Philly with a book bag. He came to Philly with a duffel bag, right? And in the third, he was just unleashing every kind of move in his bag. Like everything that he had in his arsenal, it was on display, full display, right? Behind the back dribble, like you name it, though. Those high, those high gather steps and shit, and then going into his floaters, like bro, that shit was it was crazy, right? It was crazy. Yeah, the ball movement absolutely demolished the Sixers rotation, defensive rotation, and because they were not communicating, because they were not disciplined, that's what happened. Right now, that's coaching, right? That's coaching, and also that's players not knowing where they're supposed to be at. I mean, there was a lot of times where Maxey, it kind of seemed like he didn't even know what kind of defensive coverage that the Sixers were in, right? So he got caught in no man's land a lot of times, right? And Maxey was just confused out there, right? Maxey was confused out there, not knowing what he was doing, and then offensively, so he had a terrible game, right? I mean, Jalen Tyson was guarding him, so that's definitely going to be difficult. Sometimes because Maxey, sometimes not all the time, sometimes he struggles with guys that are defenders that are wings, right? Maxey was confused. Paul George was getting caught. Nah, but Hendel. To be fair, Paul George started off on Donovan Mitchell, right? Now I'm not gonna say he locked up Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell didn't have to go off because the ball movement was just destroying the Sixers. It was just destroying the Sixers defense, right? And they were making shots. And then on the other hand, the Sixers were also turning the ball over. Joel Embiid had 4 turnovers in the first quarter alone, right? Joel Embiid had 4 turnovers. Traveling on back-to-back possessions, trying to make a play, and then end up passing the ball out of bounds, just giving them possessions, right? Giving them possessions, and then they were also getting offensive rebounds too, because once Embiid went to the bench, they brought in Adem Bona, and then you had Jared Allen and you had Evan Mobley, like 2 potential 7-footers, and they were just crashing the glass and just giving them second chance opportunities, and it was just terrible. And B kept walking. Yeah, he was. Yep. I mean, turning the ball over, trying to foul bait, trying to draw fouls, and you know, Jared Allen has been very, very smart. I think Jared Allen now has been every game against the Sixers. He gets up for those games because when he was a rookie, when he was a younger player, and B used to bully him, destroy him when he was on the Nets, and it was but now something completely different. Every time they play against the Sixers, he takes it serious, right? But that was just a summary of what happened. But let me go through the excuse me. Let me go through the first quarter, and let's just talk about it. They couldn't get rebounds. They couldn't get rebounds either. Shaking my head. I like the backcourt though. Yeah, I do. And speaking of the backcourt, I need to say this before I get into the first quarter. Now, at some point early on in the season, I was saying that the Sixers have a top 5 backcourt in the league, right? I was putting them in conversations that they didn't even deserve to be in. But I think as of last night, I have to chill down. I got to chill on those takes, right? Because last night what we saw, that was like that. That's what a top 5 backcourt looks like, right? Between Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. That's what a top 5 backcourt looks like. Now, Maxey's good. VJ's good. I'm not saying they're not good, but VJ's a rookie, right? He's a rookie. He's not experienced. He's inexperienced. So he needs more years under his belt for us to even put him in those conversations. I just think that this season, him being a rookie, I think he was overachieving, right? He was overachieving as a rookie. And I mean, the Sixers backcourt, they're averaging what, 40 plus points? Because Max is averaging 33 or 31 or whatever, and VJ's averaging 15 or 16 a game, right? But Cleveland got a top 5 backcourt in the Eastern Conference for sure, right? And that was on full display because when Donovan Mitchell was out the game and Darius Garland was running the show, we saw how an elite guard, we saw what elite guard play looks like, right? And vice versa. When Donovan Mitchell was in and Darius Garland was out, the same thing. Now, speaking of Darius Garland, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery because he went down with a right foot injury. It's completely different from the foot that he had the surgery on. So it's the other foot. I mean, still wishing him a speedy recovery. You don't want to see players go down like that, right? And then on the Sixers side, you had Dominic Barlow also go down with the lower back injury. He was going up for a layup, and then Evan Mobley blocked that shit out of bounds. I mean, now he blocked it, and they were going on the other end, and then VJ Eshkom had to foul for the Sixers medical staff to attend to Dominic Barlow. Now he didn't return. Darius Garland didn't return either. So, but wishing those two speedy recovery, And I don't think it looks pretty for Dominic Barlow, right? I don't think it looks pretty for him. So the Sixers might have to go with a different starting lineup on Friday night. So I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah, get well soon, get well soon. Darius Garland, DG. But let's start with the first quarter. So the Sixers, they Paul George started off with the and one. He had the mismatch. I think yeah, Darius Garland was on him, right? Darius Garland was on him. He got him in the short corner. They didn't rotate, they didn't send no help. And then once he felt that Darius Garland was reaching, he went up for a shot and then he ended up making the shot. Right. So Paul George started off for the Sixers. And the Cleveland Cavaliers offense was on point. Like the ball was moving, players were moving, they're setting screens, they're occupying spaces on the floor. And then the Sixers not being disciplined on defense, you know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you're not disciplined on defense, right? You're gonna be in scramble mode all the time. And I don't know. I think it's something that we need to talk about because the defense sometimes is on point, other times it's not on point. And I don't know if it was from the victory they had against the Toronto Raptors that made them come into this game a little bit lackadaisical on defense, but that was atrocious, right? That was atrocious. And Cleveland didn't really have to do too much in the first quarter, to be honest with y'all, because the ball was moving. Like if you let the ball do the work, like there's going to be a lot of positive results, especially if you're giving NBA players wide open looks. They will definitely make you pay for it, right? They'll make you pay for it. But the Sixers next couple possessions, VJ Edgecombe hits a three, Dominic Barlow has a putback layup, and then Joel Embiid also hits a 3-pointer. Now, speaking of Joel Embiid, congratulations to him for reaching 13,000 points. Right? It took a minute, took a while, but he finally got there. Right? Now, I don't think Joel Embiid is going to ever break the Sixers all-time scoring record, which is being held by Hal Greer, right? Rest in peace. One of the Sixers all-time great. People think AI got the most points, but it's Hal Greer. And I don't think Embiid he's ever going to reach that milestone because I think Embiid has only 5 years left, right? I think he's going to play 5 more years and then he's going to be over with. So, but nonetheless, congratulations to him. 13,000 points. Not too much, but still, it's an achievement, right? It's an achievement, it's a milestone, and you definitely got to give him credit for that. So, congrats. But those couple possessions, help give the Sixers the lead at 10. I think at 10 points or maybe 11 points. I could be wrong. And that was the only time they led in the first quarter, right? That was the only time they led in the first quarter. And then, the next couple possessions, the turnovers, like I said earlier, Joel Embiid traveling, picking up his pivot foot, and then the refs, I think the refs did a good job at calling those travels because sometimes I feel like he does get away with them, but last night they made sure that he wasn't going to get away with it, and they made sure that those calls are going to be enforced, right? And those turnovers, it got him pissed off because you're giving away possessions, right? And that's another thing, right? You're giving Cleveland extra possessions on top of giving offensive rebounds, right? So of course, if the offense is looking that great, you would definitely lose the game, and that's what happened, right? But the Cleveland Cavaliers, they started off on a 17-10 run because the ball was moving, players were moving, like cutting, getting offensive rebounds. Evan Mobley was very, very huge in that first quarter too, with those offensive rebounds, and giving them second chance opportunities. Donovan Mitchell only had 8 points in the first half, right? 4 in the first, 4 in the second, right? Now I'm not gonna say that Paul George locked him up because I don't think Paul George locked him up. I think Paul George played good, like he played good defense, right? Paul George played good enough defense. And when the game started, I was pissed off because I was expecting Maxey to take on the challenge on Darius Garland, right? I was expecting Maxey to take the challenge on Darius Garland, but I don't know if he was ducking the smoke. I don't know if it was a coaching decision, but he started off on Jalen Tyson. Now, Jalen Tyson, that's not sweet because Jalen Tyson, if you give him opportunity, like bro, it's a bunch of players in the NBA. If you give them opportunities, they will absolutely cook, right? We're seeing that with the Denver Nuggets with Peyton Watson, the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week. If you see Peyton Watson with the entire Nuggets roster, if they're healthy, when he has a limited role, you don't see how good he is. But with the Denver Nuggets going through injuries, and salute to Hendo, because Hendo, he pointed this out in his video earlier. Salute to him. Peyton Watson is playing very, very good basketball, and the Nuggets, the role players are playing good basketball because the role players have elevated roles right now, right? With the star players being out. So Jalen Tyson, he ain't sweet. If you give him multiple touches, if you put the ball in his hands and you tell him to go cook, he can drop 30 a night. I'm not even playing. Right. But with Donovan Mitchell being around, with Darius Garland being around, with Evan Mobley being around, he has to take a reduced role. And even in the reduced role, he was still giving the Sixers buckets. Right. He was still giving the Sixers buckets and making it difficult for the Sixers defensively too. So Maxey, he came out the game, struggling on the offensive side of the floor, and defensively he was on Jalen Tyson, which it's a cop out. Like, bro, you just want to take on the easiest defensive assignment out there, right? Salute to my guy Humble, appreciate you. Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland looking good. Yeah, they are. I ain't gonna lie, they are, right? But I think Maxey struggling, Joel Embiid turnovers, and then the Sixers, defense not being on point. That's what led to Cleveland, getting off to that hot start, right? The ball was moving, like I said, Embiid turnovers. Nick Nurse calls the timeout after the Cavs going a 17-10 run. They come back and it's just the same thing. And it was like, did you really, like, what did y'all even talk about in the timeout? Like, what was y'all discussing? Did you point out the flaws in the Sixers defense? Right, the miscommunication on defense, or the no communications at all. Did y'all talk about any of this in the timeout? Because when they came back, it was just the same thing over and over again, right? DeAndre Hunter getting those wide open threes, Darius Garland getting into the teeth of the defense, Evan Mobley getting offensive rebounds, giving the Cavs second chance opportunities, and it was just like, and the Cavs went on another run, right? They went on a 13-6 run again. Oh man, it was just sad, right? It was just sad. And then you got Maxey also struggling the way that he did, and then you got VJ Edgecombe also struggling. Now I felt like this game, I don't think the Sixers had any strategy. Which the strategy should be simple: you attack Darius Garland early and often. You attack Donovan Mitchell early and often. Those are the weakest points in the defense, right? If the Cavs have any good defense at all. Who on the Cavs surprised you the most? I don't think anybody surprised me. Like, I know what the Cavs are capable of doing. I don't think anybody surprised me. There's no surprises. That's what happens when your defense is not on point. When the ball moves and the players are sharing the ball. Like, the Cavs had multiple possessions where all 5 players were touching the ball. Pause. Right? Because the ball was moving, players are moving, they're setting screens, they're cutting. I think Tyson, for me, he's been hooping lately. Yeah, Jalen Tyson, humble. Jalen Tyson is tough. He only looks like that because he has a reduced role. Like, I'm not wishing injuries on nobody, but let somebody go down, let him get an elevated role. You will see how good he is. He's very nice. He just has a reduced role. That's why he looks like that. But yeah, I had to pause on that one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. But the Cavs took an early lead, 33-18. Sixers were down like what, 15 points? Down 15 points in the first quarter alone, right? And I think the Cavs took like 30 shots or something close to it, and the 76ers only had about 16 or 17 shots because of the turnovers and also giving up those second chance opportunities to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right. So that helped the Cavs, get up early. And the Cavs dropped 33 points with no free throws. Think about that. 33 points, no free throws. And the 76ers, 18 points in that quarter. That's the lowest amount of points they've scored in the quarter this season. Right. So you play against the Raptors, you had your highest scoring quarter with 45 in the first. And then you come into the Cavs game and then you only drop 18 in the first. So that's, the Sixers. The Sixers, they down bad, right? Sixers they down bad. But They went into the second, and Paul George, they had Maxey and Joel Embiid off the bench. I mean, on the bench, right? So it was Paul George and VJ Edgecombe running the show. Now, Paul George, again, started the Sixers off with the three. It was on a VJ Edgecombe driving kick, right? I think Evan Mobley was either Evan Mobley or Jalen Tyson was guarding Paul George. And, they committed a defensive sin, which is trying to when you're in the strong side corner, you're supposed to stick to the guy in the corner, but they try to cheat. They try to help over a little bit. And VJ, he makes that easy read into the corner, and then Paul George is able to make a three. Now, the Sixers early in the second, the Sixers were scoring, right, trying to make things happen. I think Paul George hit a couple of threes in that quarter. Adem Bona came off the bench. I mean, he was in for Joel Embiid. And Adem Bona, he got to the free throw line a couple of times. Adem Bona shoots the free throws a little better than I expected. Right. I don't know what his percentage is from the free throw line, but when he gets there, he 9 times out of 10, he's able to knock down those free throws. Right. So Adem Bona gets to the line a couple of times. I think he makes all free throws. He got to the line 4 times and made all those free throws. And the Sixers were trying to, they're trying to put together, trying to make a run, right? Trying to make a run and trying to cut it to single digits. But the Cavs were doing what they were doing. They were still scoring, even though the Sixers were trying to make something happen. Donovan Mitchell had this play where he was trying. I don't know if he was trying to draw a foul on Quentin Grimes with the rip through, and he ended up like, bro, that was a travel, man. That was a travel. No doubt that was a travel, but they don't call it, and then he goes into his patented high gather, and he's able to finish with the floater up top, right? And that was 2 of the 4 points that Donovan Mitchell got in that quarter. In the first quarter, he only had 4 points too. He scored 8 total in the half, and then went into the third and just unleashed on the 76ers offensively. And it was very, very, it was nasty, right? But I still felt like the Sixers, they were going back and forth. Um, but the lead was still what it was, right? But then, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, they check in, and then the Sixers go on a 16-12 run, right? They go on a 16-12 run, which it helps, but also Cleveland was doing, they had an answer for every Sixer bucket, right? He had an answer for every Sixer bucket. And it kept them, it kept them with the lead. It helped them with the lead. The Sixers trying to get close, but Cleveland, answering whether it's a Lonzo Ball three, whether it's a three from DeAndre Hunter, or whether it's a three from Sam Merrill, right? And Sam Merrill also went down with the injury. I think it was on the play that Tyrese Maxey drew the foul on him, and once they called the foul, like he was in pain, right? He was bent over. Pause. He was bent over, and he was holding or clutching onto the hand, right? I think it was his right hand. So it might have got caught when Max was trying to draw the foul and then, started hurting him, but, also wishing him a speedy recovery too. But yeah, Maxi got to the line, he made his 2 free throws or whatever. He says thoughts on Lonzo dropping three threes. That's huge, right? That's huge. Because at first, TuneIn Sports was a little bit reluctant on, him and his 3-point shooting. But Lonzo has improved as a 3-point shooter. Right. He's not the same Lonzo that he was with the Lakers as a 3-point shooter. Like, he's improved. And the improvement started with the Chicago Bulls. Right. When he was in Chicago, that's when it started to improve. And that season, I think it was a 21-22 season. He was shooting like 42 or 43% before the injury. Right. So he's worked on it. Now, I don't know what he's shooting from the 3-point line right now, but I think he's an average 3-point shooter if I'm to guess. Right. I think Lonzo is definitely an average 3-point shooter. Let me take a look at his 3-point percentage right quick. Yeah, it's not good. 28%. Yeah, that's bad. 27%, that's bad. But yeah, he's only played in 28 games, so I think with the 3-pointers, sometimes when you get more volume, it looks a little bit better. But who knows, right? Coming from injury, yeah, yeah, it ain't looking too good. But hey, 3 threes, that's improvement to me. I think he's improving. Right. Yeah, he was 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. So hey, 50%. Yeah, you if you the Cavs, you would definitely take it. Right. You should definitely take it. But I think in the second, like mid second quarter to the late second quarter, that's when Joel Embiid, started to go off a little bit for the 76ers. I think he had a stretch where he scored 8 straight points. And he was getting to the line, right? The free throw line was helping him a little bit. Which is, I mean, it's smart if you can get to the line and stop the clock and also score. That's always going to be a positive, right? So Joel Embiid, scoring those 8 straight points, it helped the Sixers cut the deficit to single digits at some point in the second, late in the second quarter. But Cleveland was not, they were not going away. They kept their foot on the gas pedal, and not settling for anything easy. I mean, most of the buckets were easy. Most of the shots they were getting were easy shots because the Sixers defense was not on point all game long, and they were just punishing the 76ers, right? Punishing the Sixers with those drives, initial drives, with those kicks into the corner for those open threes in the corner. They were killing the Sixers, every way possible, every way imaginable. They were just killing the Sixers. And that's the defense not being on point. I mean, like I said, Paul George played good defense in the first half to me. I mean, his initial matchup did not go off, right? His matchup was Donovan Mitchell, which I felt like that should have been a mistake because Maxey should have started on Darius Garland. VJ Edgecombe should have started on Donovan Mitchell, but they put VJ on Darius Garland. They put Paul George on Donovan Mitchell, and then they had Tyrese Maxey guarding the weakest offensive player on the court, which was Jalen Tyson in the corner. So I mean, Maxey had no action for the most part. Maxey was just in the corner, and it's easy guarding the corner, man. Right in the weak side, your job is to make sure he doesn't, backdoor you. Pause if necessary. Oh my god. If you were the coach this game, what would you have changed? I mean, I think it's easier said than done. I mean, me personally, the game plan would be attack Darius Garland, attack Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I'm going at Darius Garland for the most part, right? I'm going at but then again, VJ Edgecombe, I think what you call it, Darius was guarding VJ, right? And with VJ's a rookie, right? So he can't. I mean, I think he can take advantage of mismatches, but I don't think he can do it consistently, especially on the NBA level. I don't think it can be consistent, right? So sometimes he can muscle his way to the basket and use his size because I mean he's way bigger, way bigger, stronger, and much more athletic than Darius Garland. So, sometimes, but I don't think he can do it consistently. And I don't think if you're the Sixers, you can rely upon him attacking those mismatches. So that should have been Maxi, getting those switches on Darius Garland and just going to work, right? Just going to work. I think that should have been the game plan, right? And then also, I felt like the Sixers should have played Drummond in this game because Drummond, could help with the rebounds. Because the Cavs, they got 2 7-footers. So at some point, those guys they're gonna get on the glass. And Evan Mobley showed you that all night long. I think Evan Mobley had what 14 rebounds, 15 rebounds, right? Evan Mobley had 15 rebounds. So yeah, I think that's what I would have done differently and run the offense, run the Maxi and B 2-man game and see what you get out of it. Incorporate in Paul George and Joel Embiid dribble handoffs into it too as well. And you see where it goes from there. Right. But I don't think the game plan was I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they came into this game with any game plan. As crazy as that sounds, I don't really think they had any game plan. Um, and it was just Maxi being caught off guard a little bit. I mean, Donovan Mitchell walked into Philly and just destroyed the Sixers, right? Demolished the Sixers. So now it's on Maxi to let's see how he responds on Friday night, right, against the same team in the same building, right? You got punched in the mouth, Paul. Oh my god. You got punched in the mouth, so we got to see how you respond. Are you gonna let it go, let it slide? He says, "Well, I guess you answered my question." Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Sixers had any game plan coming into this one because the game plan was not it wasn't there. Salute to my guy, Nick. Appreciate you. You can't blame last night on podcast P this time. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, I think in the second half, and especially in the third, uh, I mean, offensively, I mean, Paul George, he got to his spots. He made a couple middies, made a couple threes, especially early in the second. Right, he was making those threes. Helped the Sixers, cut it to single digits, but the Cavs are still doing what they were doing because the Sixers defense wasn't on point. So you can't really blame Paul George, right? Now, if I'm gonna blame anybody, I'm gonna blame the best player on the team. And people keep telling me that this man is the best player on the team. So if he gets all the credit when the Sixers win, then it should make sense for him to get most of the blame when the Sixers lose, correct? Especially with him not showing up too. On both sides of the floor. Offensively, ass cheeks. Defensively, no action whatsoever. So, yes, Maxey gets the blame 100%. I mean, not 100% of the blame, but he gets most of it for sure. Joel Embiid also gets some of the blame too. He says Jeremy McCain, bro, 3 minutes. He's he's in the doghouse. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy McCain. It's just sad. But I think I said this before. I think he's in a sophomore slump, and that's why he's looking like that. Right? It's just, certain players go through it. Right? Certain players go through it. So, it's not his fault. I don't blame him a ton. Smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button as y'all come in. Sixers, Cavs, post game reaction. But the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to head into the half with a 13-point lead. I think it was 60-47. The 76ers only generated 47 points in that half. When the night before, I mean, 2 nights before, they dropped 45 in one quarter. Right. But they head into the third, and like I said, Dominic Barlow attempts a layup. He gets blocked. He gets rejected by Evan Mobley. Right. That was good. I think Evan Mobley had like 4 or 5 blocks in this game. Evan Mobley was everywhere. Like, I don't like, I mean, I'm gonna keep it at being like, I don't like Evan Mobley, but Evan Mobley was everywhere, right? He did a little bit of everything for them. Rim protection, getting rebounds. He had a couple assists too. So as much as I don't like him, I gotta give him his props for that performance. Right? I gotta give him his props for that performance. But Dominic Barlow goes down with a lower back injury. So, wishing him a speedy recovery. But I'm waiting to see what decision Nick Nurse makes in terms of, the starting lineup. I don't think Dominic Barlow is going to play on Friday night. So who might get the starting, the starting power forward position? Will Paul George be moved to the power forward position and then Kelly Oubre gets into the starting lineup at the small forward position? Will Jabari Walker replace Dominic Barlow at the 4? Now, Jabari Walker had a lot of wide open threes, and he was just missing them. Right, he just bricking them. Right, Maxey will hand him a easy pass, wide open, wide open. Maxey Maxey will make a good play to Jabari Walker in the corner, and then Jabari will just miss it right in the third. He missed a lot of wide open threes that if the Sixers, if they were able to, make some of those threes, it probably would have been a lot closer, even much closer because the Sixers, they cut it to two. They made it a 2 possession game at one point in the third, right? But at the same time, Donovan Mitchell was cooking the 76ers, right? He was cooking the Sixers, from the 3-point line. He was also attacking the rim relentlessly, finding wide open shooters. And then sometimes those guys, if the defender was close by, they'll just make the extra pass. And they were just like the ball sharing in this game from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like I think every team should watch that, right? Every team that wants to beat the Sixers, watch that game. That's the blueprint to beat the Sixers because they don't communicate on defense. That's the blueprint. Move the ball, move around. You're gonna find the wide open man every single time. And if you're getting those wide open looks 9 times out of 10, at some point you will start knocking them down, right? You will start knocking them down. As long as they have fun with the power of teamwork, that's all that matters, right? Absolutely, absolutely. He said, "Smash it." Man, humble, you ignorant, bro. TikTok comes first, basketball second. Yeah, Jared McCain. Now hold on. TikTok comes first. The nail polish comes second, and then basketball's third. Right? I would rather have Evan Mobley than Podcast P. Bro, I don't know about that. I don't like Evan Mobley, so nah. Humble says, "Let's go, Evan Mobley." Mobley got that X factor to him. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're trying to do right there, Humble. I see what you're trying to do right there, bro. You ignorant, but yeah. So Donovan Mitchell starts heating up. Making threes, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, the lead blows up to 22 points. Right, it was a 13-point lead coming into the third, and then the lead blew up to 22. Right, and with the Sixers also starting the third quarter 2 for 9, it didn't really help the Sixers at all whatsoever. So, and Donovan Mitchell, he went off in the third, like, and I think that's the third time he's done that this season. The third time of him dropping 20 points in the quarter. Right, I think that's his career high in the quarter, 20 points. And I think he made 4 threes, made 2 layups, and got to the free throw line a couple times. Right. And that will always do it. Right. That will always do it. So he got into a rhythm early. And yeah, made the Sixers pay for it. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, like the ball movement was on point. Right. The ball movement was on point. But once they got up to 22 points, I mean Nick Nurse, they call time or whatever. The Sixers come back. Donovan Mitchell goes to the bench. Right, he goes to the bench, and the Sixers, they start to go on a run of their own. Right, the Sixers go on a 15-4 run, and I think that's when they made it a 2 possession game. Right, that's when they made it a 2 possession game, and I think Maxey had a couple good moments in there. Joel Embiid had a couple good moments too. Paul George also had some good moments as well. Right? Quentin Grimes, shout out to Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes had a play where he hustled. It was a driving kick, and I think Jabari Walker missed the three, and then he crashed the offensive glass, got the offensive board, and tried to give the Sixers another chance to score. Now I don't know if they ended up scoring on that possession, um, but he really hustled on those plays. And I think as of right now, Quentin Grimes has been a little bit, inconsistent. Some games he'll be there for you. Other games he's not really giving you much, right? And defensively, I didn't really see the defensive impact in this game. I mean, in this game, like individual defense wasn't going to do it, right? Individual defense wasn't gonna do anything, right? Team defense is what the Sixers needed tonight, right? Communicating, somebody on the backside telling people where to be at. The Sixers ended up throwing a zone in the third, but the Cavaliers still found their ways around it. Donovan Mitchell making those long range, high arcing threes, and like it was just the end for the Sixers, right? But they go on the 15-4 run. Donovan Mitchell checks back into the game. I think after Darius Garland went down with the foot injury, wishing him a speedy recovery again. And Donovan Mitchell checks in, and the Cavs go on a 10-2 run, and the lead goes back up to 20 plus heading into the fourth. Right. So the Sixers had no answers for their offense. And when they went into the fourth, Drummond, I think Nick Nurse kind of quit in the fourth. He didn't really have any answers for them. He kind of quit. He benched Maxey, benched Embiid, had Paul George out there, and I think VJ Edgecombe was on the bench too. I think it was PG, it was Walker, it was Grimes, it was Bona, and I think Trendon Watford was on the floor too, right? And at that point, it was basically game over. Um, I mean, Drummond got in. He had a layup, got to the free throw line a couple times too, but it was basically game over at that point. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers at some point got up to 30 points, and I was like, yeah, this shit over with. Yeah, they ain't coming back. This shit over with. Right? It was over with at that point. DeAndre Hunter, killing the Sixers, back at home, destroying the Sixers. Donovan Mitchell putting the finishing touches on the putting the finishing touches on the Sixers. Jalen Tyson getting a couple buckets. Even Jared Allen got a couple buckets too, because Jared Allen didn't really play a lot in this game. I think he played like 20 minutes, 21 minutes or whatever. But he got into the game in the fourth. Got a couple buckets, and yeah, it was basically game over for the Sixers at that point. I don't know what the final score was, but if I'm to guess, I know for a fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers dropped 130 on the 70s. Yeah, 133 to 107. Yeah. So in the two matchups that the Sixers play the Cavs, Cleveland has found a way to drop 130 points in those two matchups. And I gotta say this, and this might be a hot take. The Sixers should avoid the Cleveland Cavaliers at all costs come playoff time. I'm going to say this one more time. The Philadelphia 76ers should avoid the Cleveland Cavaliers at all costs come playoff time. Now, I got to keep the same energy with the Sixers. I made the same take against the Knicks, that the Knicks should avoid the 76ers. The 76ers should avoid the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's not just because they've lost two times to that same team. Now, the Sixers have lost twice to the Detroit Pistons. They've lost twice to the Atlanta Hawks, and they lost twice to the Chicago Bulls as well. Now, against the Bulls, against the Hawks, those games were close, right? Those games were close in the clutch. Those games were very, very close. Against the Pistons too. Those games were close too, right? The Pistons, the Hawks, the Chicago Bulls were able to pull it out late in the fourth. Oh my god. Damn, bro. Yeah. Pause, man. Pause. Pause. I mean, hey, sorry about that, Joe. My bad, my bad. I gotta focus. I gotta focus. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that those three teams that the Sixers lost twice to, almost all of those games were close games, right? Those were close, but the other teams were able to make more winning plays in the clutch, and then eventually they were able to get the victory. But against the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's something completely different with the 76ers. Those two games have not been close. Those two games have been blowouts. And those two games have ended up with the Cleveland Cavaliers dropping 130 points or more. And the Sixers, for whatever reason, seem to not be able to compete with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if the Sixers want to make a deep postseason run, they need to avoid the Cleveland Cavaliers at all costs. Now I know the Sixers, they play them again on Friday night, which I mean the Sixers might end up, they might. I mean, I don't know, because I had them winning this one on Wednesday night, but they ended up losing. So even if they win on Friday night, it's not going to erase the fact that salute to my guy Mitch Kovsky, salute, appreciate you, bro, appreciate you. It's not going to erase the fact that you've been blown out twice in the first two matchups. It's not going to erase the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers dropped 130 plus on you in the first two matchups. So once again, if the Sixers want to make a deep postseason run, they have to avoid the Cleveland Cavaliers because it's just a bad matchup for them. It's just a bad matchup for them. And that happens, right? That happens. I mean, certain teams, they just don't match up good against certain teams, right? Just like I don't think the Knicks match up good against us. I don't think the Knicks match up good against the Detroit Pistons. I mean, the Pistons destroyed them a couple nights ago, right? And I don't think the Knicks match up good against the Celtics. I can make the same argument for the Sixers against the Cavs because it's just a bad matchup, right? It's just a bad matchup, and that's I mean just that's just me being real, and not trying to lie to myself or lie to people on here. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a bean every single time. Right? I'm gonna keep it a bean every single time. So, that's it. But great team effort from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kenny Atkinson, the entire coaching staff, and then the players. They came into Philly with a game plan and they executed it to the best. Right? And they ended up walking out the building with the victory. They blew the Sixers out at home, and then they blew the Sixers out on the road too, showing you that they can do it on both sides. It don't matter where. In Cleveland and Philly, the result is going to be the same. It's going to end up in a blowout. In a blowout, I mean. And that's just everything to it. Right? That's just everything to it. I mean, at least against certain teams, the Sixers have shown that they can compete against them. But against the Cleveland Cavaliers, no competition whatsoever. Right? And the Cleveland Cavaliers proved that the first one was not a fluke. They did it again Wednesday night. Because I think the first matchup, the Sixers were on the back to back, right? I think they played I think they played the Bulls, and it was a traveling back to back too, because they played the Bulls on the road, and then the very next night they had to face the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then they got blown out. So I think the Sixers, you might have had the back to back excuse, but okay, what's the excuse last night? No excuse. You had a great victory against the Toronto Raptors. Okay, that's cool. I heard somebody saying the Sixers they played in another country. Bullshit. Right, bullshit. That's bullshit. You got blown the fuck out. It is what it is. Right? You got blown the fuck out. Just accept the loss and then move on. Accept the loss and then move on. Now I don't know if they're gonna watch film. I mean, I don't know how you don't watch. I don't know how you don't watch film after a performance like that. Right? So Nick Nurse and the team, they should be watching film and they should be correcting their mistakes from the previous game heading into Friday night. Because the Cavs have the blueprint to beat the Sixers. They have it already. They've done it twice. So, yeah, they definitely have to watch film. I don't know if Embiid is gonna. Yeah, Embiid has to play. Paul George has to play because it's not a back to back. You have a day in between these games, so yeah, all three of them have to play for the Sixers to win, in my opinion. Salute to Scott. Appreciate you with the AI avatar. Appreciate you, bro. Maxi tired. Do you mean Maxi tried or he's tired? How can Maxi be tired? Like he's young. He's young with barely 10,000 miles on his legs. So I don't think he's tired. Now, yeah, he playing 40 minutes a night, but the guy you got as your profile picture, your avatar, he was playing 42 minutes a night and never complained. So I don't think Maxi. I'm not saying that you're saying that Maxi's complaining, but I don't think Maxi's complaining. Right? If he's the best player, as the best player, you gotta do what you gotta do. And if that means that you gotta play 40 minutes a night, then you gotta do it. If he's the best player, if he's the franchise, he has to do it. So no complaints, no excuses, just own up to it. Right? Own up to the loss. You play like ass cheeks. That's cool. On to the next one. Right? On to the next one. And that's just me holding Maxi up to high standards because I believe he's one of the best guards in the league. But last night, Donovan Mitchell proved that there's levels to this, right? Donovan Mitchell proved that there is levels to this shit. Donovan Mitchell is the best guard in the Eastern Conference, no questions. Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham. Shit, you can even make an argument that Jaylen Brown might be better than Maxey before Maxey comes. But Maxey's definitely top 5. But there are other guards that I'm gonna put in front of Maxey. Now Maxey is better than Darius Garland, right? Maxey's better than Darius Garland. But Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, and those guys, no, Maxey's not better than them. And that's just the reality of it. I know Maxey's having a better season than some of those other guards. He might be having a better season than Donovan Mitchell, but in terms of abilities and what they're capable of doing, I think that those guys are capable of doing more than a Tyrese Maxey. And last night we all saw it, right? We all saw it for the second time against the same team. So, but like I said, Maxey got punched in the face, right? So on Friday night he has to address it. Right now, are you gonna walk away and let the Cavs get away with it? Walk away and let Donovan Mitchell get away with it? Or are you gonna prove that you're better than Donovan Mitchell? Are you gonna prove that you're the best guard in the Eastern Conference and then ultimately prove me wrong? Right. So that's what I'm expecting from Maxey. And that's not me criticizing Max. I mean, I can criticize Maxey because he didn't play good last night. He had a bad performance, but that's also me holding him to high standards. Because if I'm comparing you to Donovan, if you're being compared to Donovan Mitchell, then you're doing something correct. You're doing something right. So I think how would he respond? I don't know. Right? I don't know. Now, hopefully he can respond like he did against the rookie that tried to wave at him against the in the Toronto Raptors game. Right? Maxey came out in the second game and he went nuclear on those clowns. He went nuclear on those clowns. So I'm expecting a similar performance against the Cleveland Cavaliers at home at your home, right? On your home court. I'm expecting a similar performance like that. It might not be 38 points or whatever, but I want to see aggressiveness from start to finish. Right? I want to see aggressiveness from start to finish. I want to see leadership from start to finish. Maxey showed no leadership whatsoever against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right? And to all the Sixer fans saying that Maxey's the leader on the team, where was the leadership last night? Right? Where was the leadership last night? Nowhere to be found. Now, see this clown's been ducking me for like what, 2 months, 2 to 3 months. But last night after his team won, now he want to show up. Oh my god. Bro, Tuna Sports, you sad, bro. You sad. This is a big 3. Tuna Sports, you sad, bro. You was scattered, bro. But salute to Cavaliers Talk / Tune In Sports or Tune Out Sports. Y'all can go check him out on the Cavs platforms. But that's Tune Out Sports. Yeah, that's him. But Maxey showed no leadership, showed no aggressiveness. Embiid looked nervous against us. Man, bro, get out of here. He didn't look no nervous, bro. If anything, Jared Allen looked nervous. Don't let me put that picture up. Don't let me do it, bro. Don't let me do it. But yeah, so let me just go through the box score right quick. I got a couple more minutes here. And then yeah, this shit over with. So I'm gonna start with the Cavs. 133-107. Yeah, that was nasty. But Jalen Tyson, Tyrese Maxey's primary matchup, right? He finished with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Right, he went 4 for 9 from the field. Evan Mobley, 7 for 10 from the field, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks. Right, and he finished with 17 points. So 17, 13, and 6. That's a good performance, right? I gave him his props. So salute to Evan Mobley. Jared Allen, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. He finished with 10 points. Salute. Donovan Mitchell gave you 35, 9 assists and 7 rebounds. Right. So that ball was moving around the court. They were sharing the ball. I don't even like saying that word, ball sharing, but that's what it was last night. Right. 41 assists. 41 assists. There was less ISOs and more ball and player movement from the Cavs last night. Right. Now, 41 assists compared to the 76ers getting 22. Yeah, the Cavs are getting more easier. You're creating for themselves much easier than what you're doing. Right. And it was being led by Donovan Mitchell, and then Darius Garland was right behind him. And the Cleveland Cavaliers' backcourt, the midget backcourt, proved that they were better than the Sixers backcourt. Right. Smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Mobley own y'all, and he don't want your apology. Bro, I ain't got no apology from him, bro. I'm never gonna apologize to no Evan Mobley, bro. I can give him his props, I can give him his credit, but apologize. What I gotta apologize for? I stand on what I say. He didn't deserve the DPOY last year. He didn't deserve the second team All NBA last season. I stand on that. Pause. Humble says, I'm a Philly fan until you return to going live, and that's a serious statement. So he's talking to Tuna Sports. Yeah, he a Sixer fan. You heard him. You heard him, bro. He ain't lying. He a Sixer fan. Jalen Tyson clamped Maxey. I mean, I guess you can say that. I don't think he clamped. Nah, Jalen Tyson did not clamp Maxey. Maxey was not aggressive. That's what it was. He wasn't aggressive enough. Now, he did jack up 16, 17 shots, but he wasn't aggressive. That's not aggressiveness. But let me get to Darius Garland with 20 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Wishing him a speedy recovery once again. Sam Merrill 1 for 5, had 3 points. DeAndre Hunter went off against the hometown team, right? 17 points. Hunter was getting those wide open threes in the first quarter, and they were just finding him, right? Finding him above the break. And those threes were just easy. One of those threes, he had the he had the friendly bounce, and yeah, it was his night, right? It was his night. So yeah, Craig Porter Jr. 0 for 3, 1 point. Lonzo Ball with 9 points, 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. Naquan Tomlin. Now, Quan was playing some good defense. He had that huge block on. I mean, I'm not even gonna say huge block. It was from the weak side, a weak side block from on Joel Embiid. Tyrese Proctor, Larry Nance, and Thomas Bryant, they checked in during garbage minutes, and they did what they did, but the game was won at that point already. So didn't really matter. Yeah, we'll see him again, bro. We'll see him again. But the Cavs, they dropped how many threes? Let me see. So 23s, 20 for 46 from the 3-point line, and they shot 44% from the 3. That's yeah. If a team is dropping 23s on you 9 times out of 10, you're gonna lose the game, right? You're gonna lose. In contrast to the Sixers only dropping 12 threes, right? 12 for 43, shooting 28% from the 3-point line. Yeah, that's not enough, right? That's not enough. But let me go to the Sixers and yeah, let's get up out of here. Paul George, 17 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, right? Now the defense is not gonna. There's no statistics for the defense. He had 1 steal, but I felt like he was playing some good defense on Donovan Mitchell in the first half. But again, Donovan Mitchell didn't really have to go off like that in the first because the team and the Sixers were helping them out. Right, they were moving the ball, they were finding the open man, and yeah, they were making huge buckets. right? Dominic Barlow in this game, 2 points, 1 for 3 from the field. Wishing him a speedy recovery too, right? Wishing him a speedy recovery. Joel Embiid, 7 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line. He finished with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Yeah, 4 rebounds from a center, it's not gonna cut it. Right? 4 rebounds is not gonna cut it. And I mean he had 3 assists, but to me he had -2 assists because he had 6 turnovers. Right? With those travels and him trying to make a play and then end up, giving it up, it's just terrible. Right? VJ Edgecombe went 3 for 10 from the field, 9 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Right? It's not enough. And Tyrese Maxey, 5 for 16 from the field, 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. So Donovan Mitchell by himself outplayed the Sixers backcourt by himself. Right? He had more points, more rebounds, more assists than the Sixers backcourt. Right? So, like I said, Donovan Mitchell proved to Maxey that there's levels to this. And yeah, the Sixers have to avoid or duck the Cleveland Cavaliers at all costs. I'm not even playing. Podcast P and Embiid holding Philly back. Nah, they not. Bro, what did Maxey do? What did VJ Edgecombe do? They got outplayed by one player, one man. They're not holding the Sixers back, bro. I don't think so. Paul George is taking a back seat. Paul George has a lesser role than VJ Edgecombe. So I don't think, I don't think they're holding the team back. I don't think so. But going to the bench, guys, Kelly Oubre, 2 for 6, 7 points, had 2 turnovers, 7 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Jabari Walker, 1 for 5. Like I said, Jabari Walker missed a lot of open threes in the third. Like those threes, like had he had made those threes, it probably would have been much closer. I mean, I don't know, but hey, I think I can only speculate at this point. Adem Bona, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Quentin Grimes, 8 points, 5 rebounds. Trendon Watford, 1 for 3, 3 points. He had that 3-pointer. Jared McCain, 6 points. Was it 6 points? Yeah, 6 points. Drummond had 7. Justin Edwards had 6. But I think those were in garbage minutes, so it didn't really matter at that point. But yeah, that was a game. That was a game. Right? The Cavs took care of the ball. Right? Fewer turnovers than the Sixers. They had 15. The Sixers had 12. I think in the first, that with the Sixers having all those turnovers and then them having those shot opportunities plus the offensive rebounds and those second chance opportunities, that definitely helped them. Right? It definitely helped them. And the Sixers dropping 18 points in the first. It's not gonna cut it. But I think the Sixers they know what the Cleveland Cavaliers are gonna do, so it's up to them to counter anything from the night before. Right? It's on them to counter everything from the night before. Now I'm looking forward to Maxey. I want to see how he responds to the call, right? Because Donovan Mitchell's outplayed you twice. Now the first one, okay, it was a back-to-back. Okay, cool, no problem. But what about the second one? Right? What about the second one? Right? What about the second one? Because for whatever reason, Maxey seems to get up. Excuse me, but Maxey seems to get up to play Emmanuel quickly, to play Jalen Brunson, but Donovan Mitchell, the Donovan Mitchell matchups, it's seen a little bit, a little bit sketchy, right? A little bit sketchy. So, but going 5 for 16 from the field, yeah, that's just terrible, right? So Maxi, he got to turn up on Friday night, right? Got to turn up. Now, do I think he will? I think he'll probably go off, right? I think he'll probably go off, but it's gonna be very very difficult, right? It's gonna be very very difficult. And Donovan Mitchell hit 5 threes last night, right? He hit 5 threes. Jalen Tyson had three. Darius Garland hit three. Hunter hit three. Lonzo Ball hit three. God damn. Like, bro, a lot of players are hitting like 3+. Like, god damn. Sixers for life. Spider is the closest thing we seen to Wade. Shit. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Let's take away the championships. I think Donovan Mitchell might be a little slightly better. I mean, I don't know, bro. Slightly, right? Slightly. But hey, I don't want the LeBron haters to come at me. Kobe Bryant film room and J. Cole. I don't want y'all to come at me because y'all gonna think I'm trying to defend LeBron or whatever. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So hey, I'm not even gonna talk about it. Oh man. But yeah, this performance was atrocious. It was appalling. It was an embarrassment, and the fans deserve better, right? The fans deserve better. So it's on the Sixers, right? It's on these guys to come out on Friday and play much, much better, right? It starts with Maxey, then Joel, then Paul, and then VJ. Or at this point, I should even put VJ over Paul George because he's been prioritized more than Paul George. Man, humble, man. Cut it out, bro. It was an embarrassment, bro. The Cavs got up by 30 points at one point. 30. They was up by 30 at one point. That is definitely an embarrassment. Right? That was definitely an embarrassment. Now I want to pull up the first matchup against the Cavs, which was 132 to 121. Now the Sixers were down by 20 points at one point, but they emptied out the benches and they made it a little bit closer. But I mean, Maxi had a good performance, but it wasn't enough, right? 27 to 9. Right, he finished with 27 and 9. And then Donovan Mitchell at 46. So Donovan Mitchell has been going off on the Sixers, right? He's been going off on the Sixers. Because 46 in the first matchup. And then he dropped 35? Yeah, so Mitchell been going off on the Sixers. So yeah, they gotta address it. They gotta address it. And shout out to the Cavs. I mean, the Cavs was doing a good job of ball denial, top locking, preventing Maxi from using those punishing and B screens to his benefit, and they did a good job of that. So salute to the Cavs. All right, salute to the Cavs. He liked playing the Sixers and the Celtics. Well, he should like playing against the Knicks and the and the Pacers because those teams sent them home in the past, right? Mitchell needs to be drug tested, and I wouldn't be surprised. He's been hooping. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell been going off, bro. Mitchell been going off. Yeah, so I think the Maxi fanboys. Yup, that's the reality check. Maxi's not the best guard in the Eastern Conference, right? Maxi's not the best guard in the Eastern Conference. And we saw it last night. We saw it a couple months ago, right, in the first matchup, and then we saw it again last night. So I think the Maxi fans, y'all Maxi fanboys, y'all gotta accept it, man. Y'all gotta accept it. Now Maxi might be leading the league in scoring. I mean, leading the Eastern Conference guards in scoring, but yeah, there's more to the game, bro. Hey, Tune, I thought she was gonna be at the game last night. Cause I don't know. I kind of like when she's at the game because Donovan Mitchell be going off when she's at them games. Right. Donovan Mitchell had that huge dunk against the Knicks, had that miraculous three against them on Christmas Day. I wanted her to be at the game, but hey, she was busy. She a celebrity. He never was. Bro, according to some of these Maxi fanboys, Maxi's the best guard in the East. So I just think that this game would be a reality check for them. I mean, me personally, I would put three guys over Maxi in the Eastern Conference. Now, Maxi might be having a better season than them, but as players, I think it's three guys that I'm gonna take over Maxi, and that's Mitchell, that's Cunningham, and that's Jalen Brown, and maybe Jalen Brunson. That's a toss up, right? Jalen Brunson is a toss up, but those three players for sure, I'm taking them over Maxi. And if you think I don't know basketball, then maybe you haven't watched these guys enough this season or in their careers. Yep. Mitchell happy to be lit. Come on. Humble, you doing too much, bro. Humble, that's drawn, bro. That is drawn. Bro, I know you would take. Yeah, I know you would take. There is garbage over Maxi too. I know, bro. It's not shocking. It's not shocking at all. But I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Yeah, in the first matchup, Allen went for 24. Evan Mobley went for 23. And that was Garland's first game this season. And he only played 26 minutes and he went for 8 points. He struggled in that matchup. He was 3 for 11 from the field. But yeah, in the second one, it was something completely different. And Edgecombe was, let me see what Edgecombe was. VJ definitely played in that one. Yeah, 7 points. Yeah. So again, Donovan Mitchell outplayed the Sixers backcourt by himself in 2 games. So these two have to figure it out. They have to figure it out. So, but I appreciate y'all for being in here. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, Tune did bring her up, but you was that's a little that's a little bit too much, bro. But hey, hopefully she'll be at the game on Friday night, bro. Hopefully. Yes, sir. And Tune in sports. You only show up when the Cavs win. That's sad. You sad, bro. Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, that was extra. Oh man, that was extra. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It was a good game last night. Not the results that Sixer fans we were looking for, but nonetheless, it was still a great game, right? Great performance from Donovan Mitchell, great performance from the Cavs as a unit, right? Great performance from them, and a appalling performance from the Sixers, and hopefully they can step it up on Friday night, um, and prove that they can compete with them, right? Because these first two matchups have not been close. These first two matchups have not been close. Evan Mobley is better than him. Okay, all right, bro. Hey, if that's the narrative you want to go with, hey, bro, that's on you, bro. If that's the narrative you want to go with, that's fine. I mean, I don't think Mobley's better than Embiid, but hey, that's your opinion, bro. That's your opinion. There's rumors that John Morant might get traded to the Heat. I mean, who knows? John Morant's just yeah, he going out sad. He going out sad. But yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Hopefully I'm gonna see y'all. Hopefully I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Cause I might do a pregame show tomorrow about this game. Cause I need to. Right? I need to. It's necessary. So yeah. 4 blocks, six assists, 13 rebounds, 17 points. Yeah, whatever. He put up numbers. That's cool. That's cute. Yeah, salute BJ. Salute, salute, salute. But yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all, appreciate y'all, appreciate y'all. Salute to Tuna Sports. Salute to Cavaliers Talk. 216 Love, my guy Humble. Salute to Rap God. Salute to Mitch. I saw a couple new faces in here too. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Um, hit the like button if you haven't. And I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Go Sixers.